There's a moment in life, often after 60, when a man begins to feel the weight of what was once unnoticed. A moment when the fire doesn't burn like it used to, when the pulse that once answered instantly now feels distant, delayed, uncertain. You don't talk about it often. Maybe you don't say anything at all. But deep inside, you know something's changed. It's not just about getting older. It's not about desire fading. It's about blood, flow, energy, the very force of life moving or not moving through your body. And when that flow slows down, when circulation becomes weak, you feel it in places that matter most. In your sleep, in your breath, in your presence, and yes, in your performance. You may think this is just age catching up to you, but it's not just time. It's something else, something you do every day, without thinking. It's in the food on your plate, in the bites you take, in the choices that seemed small, but built up over time. The truth is, certain foods are not just unhealthy, they are silently blocking the blood flow to the most vital part of your body. This isn't about shame. This is about truth. This is about power. Because the blood that fuels your heart is the same blood that brings strength, vitality, and intimacy to your manhood. And when you eat what inflames, clogs, and stiffens your arteries, you're not just hurting your heart, you're cutting off your strength, your connection, your confidence. So now, it's time to see clearly, to take back control. Because what you avoid is just as important as what you consume. And there are certain foods that, if not removed, will continue to weaken your circulation, damage your hormones, and silence your natural fire. The first enemy is one we were taught to love: processed meats, bacon, sausages, deli cuts, hot dogs. These are not just meat, they are chemical storms, filled with sodium, preservatives, nitrates, and saturated fats that inflame your blood vessels, stiffen your arteries, and lower your nitric oxide levels, the very molecule responsible for expanding your blood flow during arousal. Each time you eat them, you're not feeding strength, you're feeding blockage. You're building walls where flow should be. And over time, that shows up not just in your blood pressure, but in your ability to rise, respond, and feel alive. The second is sugar. Not just the sugar in desserts, but hidden sugars in breads, sauces, cereals, even healthy snacks. Sugar spikes insulin, increases belly fat, and drives chronic inflammation. But more than that, it destroys nitric oxide, disrupts testosterone, and leads to metabolic syndrome, a major cause of erectile dysfunction. Sugar gives you a moment of pleasure and robs you of sustained power. It numbs the very force that gives you intimacy, clarity, and fire. It doesn't just weigh you down, it closes the gates of flow. And the body that cannot flow cannot perform. Then comes fried food, crispy, golden, addictive. But underneath the texture is death to your circulation. Trans fats, oxidized oils, and deep frying methods turn food into poison for your arteries. They coat your inner walls with sludge. They damage the endothelium, the lining that produces nitric oxide. And once that lining is damaged, your blood cannot move the way it's meant to. Fried food doesn't just fill your plate, it drains your life. And with each bite, the flame dims a little more. Let's speak now of alcohol. In moderation, some believe it relaxes. And yes, a glass of red wine may support the heart. But excess, especially beer and spirits, cripples your circulation. Alcohol dehydrates. It damages the liver, increases estrogen, and lowers testosterone. It interferes with sleep, disrupts blood sugar, and erodes your edge. A man doesn't need to be drunk to lose himself. He only needs to be disconnected from the power that lives within. And alcohol, when abused, builds that disconnection faster than you think. And finally, the white trio: white bread, white rice, white pasta, stripped of fiber, loaded with starch. These refined carbs break down quickly into sugar, creating insulin spikes, weight gain, and inflammation. They offer comfort, but steal performance. They make you full, but leave you empty. You may think they are harmless, but they are slow poison to your circulation. And in a body over 60, that damage accumulates faster. The vessels narrow, the blood thickens, the signals slow. But here's the most powerful part of this: truth can be reversed. You are not too old. It is not too late. Your body is not done responding. It's simply waiting for you to stop feeding the fire of dysfunction and start feeding the roots of strength. When you remove these foods, these blockers of blood, these silencers of flow, your body begins to heal. Within days, your nitric oxide rises, your vessels soften, your energy shifts. Within weeks, your hormones stabilize. Your rest deepens. Your confidence stirs. You begin to feel something that perhaps you thought was gone forever: readiness, strength, the quiet pulse of a man returning to himself. Imagine clearing your kitchen, replacing the processed with the pure, cutting away the fried, the sugary, the heavy, and choosing instead what nourishes, protects, and restores. You wake up lighter. You breathe deeper. You look in the mirror and see not just an older man, but a wiser one, a man who chose to stop sabotaging his fire and started tending it. Because what you eliminate creates space for what you truly need. Space for circulation. Space for flow. Space for intimacy. Space for power. This is not about perfection. It's about intention. You can still enjoy food. You can still feel satisfied. But you must choose what feeds your future, not just your taste. And every time you avoid what blocks you, you say yes to what builds you. Yes to strength. Yes to energy. Yes to the man within. The blood in your body still longs to move. Your heart still longs to beat with purpose. Your masculinity still longs to rise. But you must clear the path. You must stop feeding what holds you back. Today can be that turning point. Today, you stop blaming age. Today, you start feeding flow. Because you are still powerful, still worthy, still full of life. And your body, when given the chance, will always remember how to heal. Start now. Clear the path, and let your blood move like it was always meant to. Free, strong, alive.